Hello. Hey, y'all.
Hey,
As you can see, we are in a party mode today. Woo! Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why we are so excited
I want to
about
know. I want to know.
this?
Tell them. Tell them.
So this is Real Women Real Talk, and y'all, can you believe that this is episode 50? Woo! Woo! We
Hey,
have been doing this for 50 episodes, and we are so excited about it. When we started this, we were just like, we wanted to do something to help more people understand who we are and what we do, and give you a little snippet of the experience of a real women sister circle or an intensive, which we'll tell you about later on in the show. But we started, humble beginnings, and here we are, 50 episodes in, and we are not stopping anytime soon. So just celebrate with us, y'all. Yay, we made
yay!
it.
We did.
So this is going to be a celebratory episode, and we're going to talk about 50 and what that means for us in more ways than one. So really, really excited. But before I go too far, let me tell you who I am. I am the amazing Shavon Carter, and I am one of the facilitators for Real Women, and I am joined by the beautiful.
I am Trenace Richardson. Thank you for the compliment, girl. And I am the founder of Real Women and celebrating this 50th episode. I'm so excited y'all are with us for this. Yes.
Yes, yes, it's going to be so fun. So we're just going to jump right in and talk about real talk. So before we get into the topic that I want to talk about for real talk segment, sister, how are you doing in general today?
Today is a wonderful day.
Yeah.
So let me just take my glasses off.
Okay. Okay.
So all the things. So
Yeah.
not only are we celebrating this 50th episode, which I think just it epitomizes our long suffering endurance. Like we're gonna be
Yeah.
consistent no matter what is happening in life. So
Yeah.
I love the consistency of this and how disciplined we've been to make it happen and flexibility to make it happen. Like
Yes.
we've been making it happen. So I'm excited about that. But I also got to be out in nature today. So I'm very, very
Yay.
happy.
You're a nature girl. Yes.
I'm a nature girl, so I was in my happy space. You had to study. I invited you, but you had
Yes.
to study. So I have sunflowers on. I have sunflower earrings on for those of you who can't see me because I went to a sunflower festival.
Yay.
So I did all the corny things to dress up and I took
It's so
pictures.
cute.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. And so video and all that stuff. It was just a really good day. It was raining here, but I went out in spite of and got a little bit of reprieve from the rain, just long enough to really enjoy myself and pick some sunflowers. So, my endorphins are real high right now. I feel great.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I love that. I love it. I love it. So I'm gonna feed off your energy because I'm
Okay.
feeling really good today as well.
Yay.
I was just talking to you before we started the recording that I was looking at a video. So I am going to my college's homecoming this year. I went to the illustrious Florida A&M University in
Hey.
Tallahassee, Florida, and I was a part of a dance team in college, and it's going to be our 30th year for the dance team, not my 30th year, but 30th year that the dance team has been in existence. So
Yeah.
we are going to homecoming. We're going to be dancing on the sidelines and participating in the parade. And it's going to be
Y'all gonna
so
be doing it.
all the
All of that.
stuff, yeah, all the dancing and stuff. And we did it for 25, and it was so fun. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to 30. And I just saw one of the videos that one of the instructors sent, and she was just giving us like some snippets of some of the sideline dances. And I was like, "Oh, girl, okay, well, let me get this body together, honey, because this baby was moving on this video." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm big 46. I don't know if I'm be able to move like that, but I'm gonna try." I'm gonna try, but I'm really excited about going to my college's homecoming. So yeah,
Yay, good. Gives you something to look forward
it
to,
does.
something to work up towards.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna try because I remember last time they did the same thing, and I was in the room just like, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3.
I remember the videos. That was fly.
Yes, we had
Yeah.
a great time, and I get to see, my college roommate, my sister who was in the dance team with us, and one of my other college roommates. So it's gonna feel like a girls' trip. Like we've already got the hotel, we're gonna be rooming together, so it's gonna be fun.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So
Mhm.
do all the so from every year and any woman from any year can come to
Yeah,
you all and
any
celebrate. That's
woman from any
beautiful.
year, yeah, and they have the current dancers, and they've showed us some of the routines that they're currently doing. So yeah, it's gonna be great. Mhm.
Oh, that's so much fun. So you real talk, we both doing good today.
Real talk, we are doing good. I hope y'all can hear the energy. We are filled with excitement. And we want to hear from you. Like, how are you doing? How are things going with you? Feel free to share with us. Visit us at speakpipe.com/real women real talk, or email us at info@realwomenrock.org, so that you can just tell us how you're doing. And you may be featured on one of our future episodes.
Mhm.
All right, sister. So before we go into the deep dive, I did have a real talk question for you that aligns with where we're going for the deep dive. So, I've often heard about men having midlife crises, right? So you may
And they
hear,
do. And they
right,
do.
So, just if you're listening, you're not sure what a midlife crisis is. So, it refers to the middle years of life, which ranges from approximately 40 years of age, which I didn't realize that's when it started, to approximately 65 years of age. And it's basically a time where people reassess their life, they come to terms with their limitations, and they confront maybe some regrets about the past. And it may cause them to have some mood irregularities or weight loss or just some changes, drastic changes in their lives. So I've heard about men getting the sports cars, during the midlife crisis, or they may get a divorce and then start dating a younger woman, or they may cut off all their hair or whatever. But I haven't really heard a woman say she was going through a midlife crisis. So I wanted to ask you, sister, being that you just turned 50 and fabulous,
Mhm.
have you made a midlife crisis change, or have you experienced midlife crisis since or right now?
As much as I hate to admit it, yes, I have.
Okay. Okay.
And so it's a catch 22 because I thought that
Mhm.
only men go through this something,
Yeah.
whatever, whatever you want to call it. I definitely associated it as midlife crisis with my husband. I was like, okay, so
Yeah.
we're getting a new car. What are we doing? Like, we're gonna get the, all of the things, the rev
Yeah.
rev, vroom vroom, all of that. And so I knew it was true for at least my husband and men
Mhm.
that I'm aware of, and just did not think, because when he turned 50, I was 45. And I do love that you gave this range of age. So
Yeah.
I get to ask you the same question right
Yeah,
there.
right, exactly.
I
Because I had
love
to think about it. Yeah.
that. but
Mhm.
but I really started thinking about it when I turned 50, as I've turned 50 this year, because it has, you mentioned, just a lot of reflection. I
Mhm.
have done a whole lot of reflection. And then I noticed in this season, the last maybe 3 years or so,
Mhm.
maybe 4, I've been wanting to do, the thought in my head is I want to do all the things I've either never thought I could do or always wanted to do and just didn't.
Yeah.
So I've got tattoos on my back from the
Yeah.
past couple of years, and I never would have done that in younger years, and just decided I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I
Exactly.
want to, and I'm
Yes.
going to make them as meaningful to me as possible so I would never regret getting them.
Yes.
And then this year I showed off because because I've been taking so many trips, I was like, okay, we got to conserve our coins because tattoos are not cheap.
They're not.
So,
Mm-mm.
and I spent some money to do the traveling that I did this year. So I was like, what do I do for my 50th? So you may or may not be able to see it, but I got a nose ring. I've been showing off. You hear
It's
me?
so cute too.
Showing off. And so, so I know all of these things are indicative of this middle of life and just taking it seriously to
Mhm.
say, I recognize that I possibly have more years behind me than in front of me.
Yeah,
And then taking it not so seriously to say, just shoot, have some fun,
yeah,
do some
yeah,
fun things.
yeah,
So, yes, absolutely. I'm calling it my midlife situation. But,
yeah.
yes.
I love that. I love that.
What about you?
So, it's interesting when I saw 40, I was like, "Ooh," I was thinking like 50 is when it starts, but it can start
Mhm.
as early as 40. So,
Yeah.
I do think I did have a bit of a midlife crisis when I turned 40, because I remember how I spent that year, and it was such a drastic shift for me. Like, look, all the stuff I used to worry about, like, I just want to have fun for my year of
Mhm.
40. So I think that really started like the shift for me into really enjoying my life and having fun and traveling and all of that. And maybe I'm having another one. I don't know. I guess you can have several. I can do it
Mhm.
if I want to, because that's my business. But 46 feels like a very reflective year for me. And I've shared a lot on previous episodes about just really processing how I feel about being single and not having any children and daddy issues and relationships. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff that's happening for me, so I really feel like I am in a reflective space in 46. So I may be having another midlife crisis. So yeah, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's happening. Hmm.
And I don't, maybe we'll get to this, but I have some very, I won't call, maybe deep reflective thoughts that I've been
Uh-huh.
digging into as a result. But yeah, in
Yeah.
general, it is that tight time
Yeah.
of or season to be really reflective. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So
Mhm.
yeah. So if you're having a midlife crisis or just curious about it, we would love for you to let us know. Like I said, visit us at speakpipe.com/real women real talk, or email us at info@realwomenrock.org, because we want to know, as a woman or even as a man, if you're listening and
Mhm.
watching this, have you experienced a midlife crisis, and what does it look like for you? We would love to hear from you on that.
Here, here.
Yes. So, sister, we are celebrating
We are
50 episodes, and we're still celebrating you turning 50 and fabulous.
all
So,
year long, all year long.
all year long. So, that's what our deep dive is going to be about today. It's just celebrating 50. Like, what does that even mean? What does it look like? And I really wanted us to reflect, since we're talking about reflection, just reflect over the past 50 episodes and to
Mm.
think about, like, what are some of our favorite episodes? What are some things that we've learned? What are we looking forward to? All the things. So that's kind of where we're going and what I wanted to talk about today. But you're let's start with you, because it's so monumental that you have reached 50 years of age. So what does 50 mean to you?
Mm. Ooh, so I really am speaking um, that it is the half point, the halftime of my life. I
Mhm.
would absolutely love to be a centenarian,
Yeah,
and to be a centenarian who has all of her wits
yeah,
and a greater portion of health and strength physically,
yeah.
physically and mentally. So I'm just going to speak that over myself, and continue in that vein. So if I am at the halfway point, then I have become so, number one, grateful
Mhm.
and thankful that there are things that would have bothered me before
Yeah.
that just like,
Right.
why would I waste heartbeats? Why would I
Mhm.
waste breath on certain things? And so, I so appreciate the next level thinking
Mhm.
and gratefulness that this age has brought about in my
Yeah.
thought process and my actions and reactions to things, because
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
it's just not worth it.
Mm.
Having having a bad day is having bad feelings.
Mhm.
Feeling some negative feelings are I don't think they're things that you can necessarily help.
Mhm.
You will have bad feelings.
Yeah.
But that translating to a bad day, mm-mm, I'm not doing that.
Exactly. I'm not doing that.
Mm-mm. I'm not doing that no more. No, because
Yes.
I'm working through whatever that is and
Yeah.
reaching out for my tools and the people in my life who I know who can shift things. So
Mhm.
that's probably the biggest thing, that things that I don't sweat the small stuff as much.
Mhm.
The other thing is, and I just realized this when you and some of my sister friends, we were able to get together
Yes.
recently. I don't have people in my life in any substantive, meaningful way that I don't want. Like I've
Yes.
just
Yes. That's
I
fact. Yes.
listen, I have curated and
Mhm.
cultivated relationships with people, and that's what I stick to.
Yeah.
I am so intentional about one of the ways I think I can do the next level thinking and reaction and acting, because I am aligning myself in life and doing life with people who are very similarly focused. Like
Yeah.
we're going to talk through things
Mhm.
instead of trivializing and complicating situations
Mhm.
by doing some low level stuff with each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
So, and it is like I feel like I remember thinking 50 was so old at some points in my life. I remember thinking that's such a old, like that's old. First of all, it's not old at all now
It's
that I'm here.
not at all.
I
At
don't
all.
feel old at
Mm-mm.
all.
Mm-mm.
But also now that I'm here, I just take my purpose in life
Mhm.
and my days a whole lot more seriously. Like I really want to make more meaning out of each day.
Yeah.
And that means stopping and smelling, literally smelling the flowers and
Yeah.
looking at the sky and just appreciating. Like I just really not only wanted to go for a walk by myself, but because I was with my sisters, I was like,
Mhm.
y'all want to go for a walk? Like it meant a whole lot to me to move with you all outside,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's, I don't know if I answered your question, but
You
50
absolutely
has
did.
done a
Yeah.
whole lot of thought-provoking, thankful,
Mhm.
reflection and action on my part.
Mhm. Yeah. I
Mhm,
must say that even though I am 4 years away from turning 50, God willing, you and our other girlfriend Sherry make me so excited about that time frame when I do turn 50, because
mhm,
your zest for life, your wisdom, you have so much wisdom. The both of you have so much wisdom, and just your excitement
mhm,
and uh, just where you are and how you're taking it on, because I do know some people who don't feel that way. They
mm,
really feel sad about it and grieve the fact that they have reached this point. And so I just appreciate the model that you all are creating of how you can choose to be, how you can choose to embrace all of your 50 years of living. And so, yeah, so thank you for your excitement and for sharing that and doing new things and traveling and posting and just really getting us excited about those of us who are will be reaching that time soon. And I just realized, and I talked about it with you all when we met up, was I'm going to be 50 the next Olympics. Like that is so funny to me.
yes,
2028. That
yes,
is so funny to me, but I'm really looking forward to it. So we're talking
and
about 50. Oh, go
and
ahead.
I was just gonna say, and it flies by, first
It
of all.
flies
So
by,
it
right?
flies by. But I
Yeah.
did wanna revisit something that you said earlier during the real talk, because, um in my reflecting and keeping people around me that that I have meaningful relationships with,
Mhm.
another thing that 50 has done for me is it has caused me to soften up as it relates to what might have in the past been problematic relationships for me, but are
Mm.
still meaningful. Like I want those relationships. For example, I have a softer spot in my heart for my father now.
Mm. I
And it has always been, um, well, I have grown many moons ago. I grew to being more empathetic
mhm,
toward him, just understanding his background and how he was raised and
mhm,
all those things. But it has shifted for me in these last couple of years where I do want a more meaningful relationship with him. And
mm,
so I reach out more
mhm,
often than
mhm.
I maybe did in the past. And so, um, I appreciate that I still have time
Yeah.
to work on that and work through that. Um, and then my mom, I talk to her as much as my schedule and her schedule, because she's a diva,
She is
um,
busy, yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
her schedule allows.
Yeah.
But it has just made me, anytime I can get with her, anytime we can do something, I'm ready. Like
Mhm.
if she hints at her wanting to do something, I'm like, okay, let me see how I can make it happen, or let me get
Yeah.
there, because I'm just valuing that part, so much. And I see how my son, at 15, might, oh my God, my mama would say, pop him if he does this, but roll his
Mhm.
eyes about something I say, or,
Yeah.
he's just
Uh-huh.
a typical teenager, like, oh, mom,
Right.
that kind of thing. I remember being that way with my mom,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
and whenever I have any kind of inkling of a thought now about my mom, it's like I need to cherish every single moment I can, you
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
just wanted to put that out there. That's been um, a deep feeling for me in my reflection
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I love that because we have sisters around us and even brothers around us who have lost their parents, and
Mm,
we see how it's just a different level of grief. And they often tell us,
yes.
unless you have experienced it, you just cannot understand. So I love the fact that you are cherishing the time that you have with your parents, no matter what has gone on. Just
Mhm.
appreciating the now, and just embracing the present, and just relishing in the relationships that you have with them. That is beautiful, and that is wisdom, that 50 years of life definitely can bring. So, with that, I wanted to also talk about our 50 episodes that we have had so far, and just kind of take a look at some of maybe your favorite or favorites. You may not
Mhm.
have just one,
Mhm.
and just to kind of reflect on that. So, do you have an
Mhm.
episode or episodes that you just really appreciated, or want to talk about, that stands out to you?
This is gonna be so hard. It's gonna be so hard
It's tough.
because it is always a good time and one of my favorite parts of the week when we have
Mhm.
these and we sit down and talk about them. So much so,
Yeah.
and this is so funny because when I speak or when I sing somewhere, I very rarely want to go back, especially right after the fact, to listen
Mhm.
to myself.
Yeah.
I may, with some distance between it, I may want to go back and just remember the moment or something. But
Mhm.
usually I'm not going back right after because I'm
Yeah.
very self conscious about it.
Mhm.
I have re-listened to every episode of this
Right?
podcast, and I
Yeah.
have listened to some of them more than once just because they have
Mm.
been so meaningful to me.
Wow.
So I was trying to go back and just recall just so that I could highlight one or two.
Mhm.
And I will start with, I think we were leaning toward, in this one, what your communication style is, but
Okay.
and I don't know if that was the same one that we ended up talking about leadership styles.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
okay, it was, you're nodding.
Yeah.
So I love that one because we talk about a whole lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But that one stood out for me because it broached the professional side of us too,
Yeah.
just as much as it did the personal side of us. And
Mhm.
I personally got so much feedback from that
Mhm.
one about
Right.
people who really appreciated that moment of, let's analyze what our communication styles are and how
Mhm.
we communicate with others as
Mhm.
people and as leaders.
Mhm.
So that one sticks out for me as one that I really enjoy digging into because we are both professionals,
Yeah.
um, but we help women and people with
Mhm.
personal development too.
Yes,
So
we do.
so
Yeah.
we lean, I think our bent, if there is one, our
Mhm.
tendency is to be on that personal development side.
Mhm.
But we were in our bag with that as well. So that's one that sticks out for me. I
Okay.
have another, but I'm gonna take a moment to pitch it back to you. What do you
Okay.
think? Yeah.
Okay. So I have several, but the one that definitely stands out is the pieces of me.
Mm,
Anytime I get to talk about the parts and the pieces of me and help people to understand that, I just love it so much because it's that model has brought so much value to me and that I use to this day just to help me understand who I am and bring so much awareness, self-awareness, and
mhm,
it just brings so much inner peace for me because I can understand. Like just today, I identified another piece, so it's like
mm,
there's a constant exploration that's happening. So I love that because just introducing that to people is always great. And I remember I think we got some feedback from that one as well. So
mhm,
yeah, so that's one that I love.
mhm.
So what's your
Ooh, ooh,
second one?
ooh, 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 like
Okay,
I'm
okay.
trying to choose and pick, and
Yeah.
I think one that really meant a lot to me that was fun,
Hmm.
um, was, Big Things Come in Small
Oh
Packages.
yeah, the size matter. Yes.
So just the idea that, we did all of the marketing ploy that we could possibly do
We
and
did.
still had a whole lot of literal fun with it at the
Yes.
beginning. But the meaning behind it was how we take for granted small steps,
Hmm.
small moments, things that are not big and grand.
Hmm.
It really is. There's a book called Atomic Habits, that we've
Mm.
studied in Real Women as well together, and how it's really those small steps that lead to something major happening.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
that was a meaningful one just because of how much fun it was,
It
and
was fun.
then, how meaningful it was after the fact.
Yeah, that was
Mhm,
that was a good one.
mm,
Relationships be hard. That was
mm,
another one. Anytime we talk about relationships, I just love it because
mhm,
I think eventually couples is going to be my area for counseling because I really enjoy digging into the different dynamics of relationships and couples and just understanding if people helping people to understand why we do the things that we do and how that shows up in relationships. So just talking about that and just with our different perspectives, with you being married, me being single, and us being on the other side before.
mhm.
So it's just we have so much perspective for an appreciation for both sides. And yeah, so anytime we talk about relationships is always a great discussion. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll do one more.
Okay.
I'll say the one where we talked about failure.
Okay.
What is our relationship to failure?
Mhm.
Because I feel like that was one of those I was able to be my most transparent and vulnerable.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, because oftentimes, we definitely want to be encouraging and motivating and
Mhm.
upbeat and happy and those types of things on this.
Mhm.
Um, and in order to do that, and we talked about this, I think, during that episode, we may tend to show only our highlights,
Yeah.
our highlight
Mhm.
reels, and talk about what's working for us and best
Yeah.
practices, and try to be the person who can give the advice. But to really hone in on the areas and the times when we have not done well,
Yeah.
and how that made us feel. To first of all, just name them is different.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then how we felt when it happened and what we did as a result, that was meaningful for me to just put out in this podcast verse.
Yeah, yeah. Because I love how we can be authentic, and especially when we're talking about how we're doing. Sometimes we're like, "Look, I'm not okay today,"
Mhm.
and we're still showing up, and we're still doing these episodes, and that's reality. That's life, And so I love that we're able to be transparent and vulnerable, just like we do in
Yep.
sister circles, in real
Yep.
women sister circles. So
Can I
yeah,
ask you a question?
yes.
So, regarding our journey thus far, because I
Hmm.
have a thought about my answer to this question. I want to hear
Hmm.
yours first.
Hmm.
Um, what have you thought either we could do better, or what have you been a little self-conscious about during this process of podcast recordings and putting them out there in the world? Anything on that side of things where, you're not
Yeah.
your favorite something when you have to look back?
Yeah. The first thing is, of course, I would love for us to be in the same space. Like, I wish we could be in the
Mhm.
studio and all of that, and just have the podcast set up. But with our schedules and just so much going
Mhm.
on, we're just not able to do that. So that is something that I wish could happen, and that I'm pretty sure is going to happen at some point in the
Mhm.
future. And then personally, when I'm going through things, especially, I think, yeah, I went through a breakup during this,
Mhm.
since we've started. And so just trying to figure out how much to share, and
Mhm.
not wanting to paint a bad picture of anybody, but to also be honest about where I am. So that has been a little tricky for me, just one trying to figure out how much to share. And then once I get to talking, I may forget that this is a podcast, and it's gonna be available for other people to listen to and watch. So just the comfortability that I have, but it is what it is. Somebody will get value from it. But yeah, that's
Child.
my answer to that. What about you?
Yeah, you just made me think. We did a whole episode on freedom, and we are free, and then we like, "Ooh, did I say that?"
Right, right. Because we're just be talking to each other like how we normally do. It's like, wait, okay, other people are listening, they're watching. Wait.
Oh, that is too funny. And it is important, I think, for folks to know. I can almost safely say you can validate it because you do, putting it out there. But I don't
Uh-huh.
think we have edited anything, like just
No.
spiced anything
No.
out at all.
No.
So
Nope.
yeah, so
Mm-mm.
you are literally getting what we give when we
Exactly.
podcast. So
Ta-da!
um,
Yep.
so I think for me, definitely the in person. I think we will get there. We're on our
Yeah.
way. 50
Mhm.
episodes is monumental, but it's also not a whole lot when you think about we want to have a life cycle for
Yeah.
our podcast. So we're
Yep.
really at the early stages.
Mhm.
So I know we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And to that point, my biggest is every time I'm just so self-conscious about the sound. I really, because I
Mm.
know if if a podcast that I'm trying to listen to while I'm doing things, if it's
Yeah.
difficult to hear in any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form,
Mhm.
I'm prone not to stick around and work
Right.
through it, right? I try might
Mhm.
maybe to fast forward a little bit to see if it's still there, and if it's still
Yeah.
there. So my prayer has been every single time, please let all the glitches, because what we've decided was we're gonna get through these podcast
Yes.
episodes, because
Mhm.
if we tried to be perfect at all of this, we would stop and not
Yeah,
do them.
for
And
sure.
so we're going to work through our kinks and learn better the next time and do better. We're doing that as we move along. But
Mhm.
as we learn our lessons, I'm always like, please let it be so that people will, because it's such good information.
It
Please let it
is.
be decent enough for folks to stick around for it. So that's
Mhm.
always my little thing that I'm trying to work through. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we got the mics now. Did they work? Testing 1, 2, 3,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
All of that and listening back at them. And then I think I am looking forward to our growth to the point where we can engage. Like, I love that we have had guests, and we're going to have more guests as we move along.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to more feedback from
Mhm.
those who are listening to send us
Yeah.
emails. We've had a few of those.
Mhm.
Um, that's that small um, big things come in small packages. That's, the size, does size matter? That
Yeah.
yielded a whole lot of feedback,
It did.
that we didn't expect. Um, so looking forward to more of that, because
Mhm.
it can feel like it's just me and you out here, and we
Yes.
can see the downloads after the fact, so we know we're being listened to.
Yeah.
But I do look forward to more feedback.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so we would love to hear from you. We would love to hear one, the feedback. We want to know what you feel about these episodes, which ones resonated most with you, which ones were your favorite, and then what 50 means to you, if you have turned 50, or if you are on the path and close to it, or even if you're not, what does 50 mean to you? Maybe 50 represents something else and not age, but we would just love to hear your thoughts. So once again, visit us at speakpipe.com/real women real talk, or email us at info@realwomenrock.org.
Mhm.
Yes. So transitioning to our next segment of put myself in her shoes. This is a little different, so it's not a scenario, but it just ties to what we've been talking about with age, turning 50, and getting older.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to pose your question, putting yourself in your own shoes,
Mhm. Mhm.
sister.
Mhm. I like that.
How do you believe in making friends as you get older, or do you prefer no new friends, just acquaintances? Like, how do you feel about developing friendships at this age?
Oh, this is such a good question. Oh, because it's so funny. My husband always says, "I got my friends. I'm good." He's hilarious when it comes to it. Okay. Um, I honestly, and I know this is a cheating a little bit, but I am honestly on both sides of the fence. One,
Okay.
I am very clear about who my sister friends are
Mhm.
currently.
Yeah.
And I've already said earlier in the episode, they are my go-tos,
Mhm.
and I don't even have people around me that I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable going to, but the people that I call them my inner circle, those folks, I don't think that's going to change at all.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we are in this together for life.
For
So,
sure. Yeah.
um, and some of us are a little pickier about opening the circle up than others.
I'm some of us. Yeah. Mhm.
So, so that's not going to happen. So that's that.
Mhm.
But I believe, for me, there is an attraction to some people for various reasons.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, and this is literally how it happened. Dr. Vicki Johnson, who was our first guest
Mhm.
on this podcast, I consider her a big sister, a mentor, um, a friend. She's a soror. She's a lot of things to me in my life, but we became as close as we are because I experienced her in spaces. We happened to be, in the same spaces doing the things that we do, both of us speaking or whatever.
Mhm.
And I made a decision. I wanted to reach out to her and talk to her. And I
Mhm.
wanted to take her out for coffee, tea, lunch, or something. And I wasn't sure whether she would be open to it or not, but I was like, I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm just going to invite her.
Mhm.
And so I decided, and it was for me, it's selective, and it's not about, ooh, I choose you and not you. It's just in the moment, if I feel led to do so, to
Mhm.
connect with someone on a deeper level, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And I have done that over, the span of a few years recently, and it has yielded wonderful new relationships.
Mhm.
But I still have my long term core that is probably not going to change. So
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe a little of both. What do you
Mhm.
think? What
Yeah.
about
So I'm kind of there too. I liken it to and I forgot who shared this analogy with me, but I always think about it when you think about a theater and everybody doesn't
mm,
deserve to be in your front row,
mm,
when you think about the
mm,
theater and the stage. So the stage is my life and the front row are those who are the closest inner circle, which I agree that that is solid and I don't think that is going to change. And I think there will be people that come into my life that will be organic connections, depending upon how we met, maybe be through something related to counseling or dancing or whatever it is that I'm into. That I think will have connections that may not be as emotionally invested as those in my close circle, but we still have some type of relationship. So I think it'll be a mixture of people in the theater at different, spots and
mhm.
different seasons and reasons. So I'm not closed off to it, but I know that I'm very protective of my inner circle because that's my most vulnerable space. And with a lot of the trust issues and stuff and background that I have, I just don't desire to open that up to too many people. So, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that analogy. And I think one of our sister friends, and I'm not going to do it justice, I can't even think of the middle circle, but
Hmm.
gave the analogy in a sister circle of your circles. And
Hmm.
the outer one was like the crowd, and
Mm,
the inner one was like the confidants or something. And I
okay.
can't remember what the middle was, but
Hmm.
I love that because then you get to figure out in your life, where do people sit in your life?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
where are you and there might be some deficiency, like you might
Hmm.
notice we've heard from real women sisters in sister circles, I really don't have an inner circle, or I really
Yeah.
don't have a front row. I don't feel like
Hmm.
I have a front row. Well, when
Hmm.
you think about it in that way, you can be more intentional about creating relationships that could
Yeah.
move in that direction. So
Hmm.
I love those
Absolutely.
analogies for that reason.
Yeah. 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 So I just wanted to ask, to see where we are. We're getting older, and I've heard people say that, no new friends. I'm not interested in making any more friends. So yeah, just wanted to have that conversation with
I like it.
you. Yes. Okay. So moving on into our last and final segment, which is our spiritual nugget. We've
Mhm.
talked about some good stuff today, sister. So what comes up for you is something that you want to leave with our listeners.
Mm. So I'm not going to be able to give the address, the scriptural address,
Mhm.
um, because it just came to mind. And I just want to encourage that it is a decision that is made, but the words that came up for me as a result of this episode is the declaration that I have made over my life, and I
Mhm.
pray that you make it your declaration. My latter will be greater than
Mm,
my former.
mm,
My latter, this part of my life, will be greater than my past.
mhm,
And no matter how wonderful things have been, that there's more on in this season of my life and in future seasons of my life. And no matter how traumatic things have been, no matter how broken things have felt, that there can be greater and better in your future and in your present future, in your very most right now. We can declare those things and move in the direction of greater and better. Your ladder, my ladder, shall be greater than my past.
mm.
Yeah,
Amen.
yeah.
That really spoke to me deeply. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that.
Mhm.
And especially the season of life that I am in right now,
Yeah.
that speaks to me. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Whew. All right. Yes. Amen. I hope you who are listening and watching receive that message and that it speaks to you and speaks over your life, that you will embrace that your ladder will be greater. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I wasn't expecting to cry, Jesus, but amen.
Amen and amen. Mm,
This is real women. We are being real with our sentiments. We're being real with our emotions, and we're
mhm.
being real with the things that we're going through and where we are. And if you have enjoyed this episode, you can get more of us by visiting us at realwomenrock.org, and you can come to a sister circle. We have in-person sister circles and virtual sister circles where you can connect with us no matter where you are. So we offer that. And then we have an amazing intensive that's coming up November 22nd through the 24th. I'm going to get it right this time. The 22nd through the 24th. And it's going to be in Cambridge, Maryland. We're going to be at a resort and spa hotel. And it's an opportunity for us to connect with other like minded sisters where we can do this for a weekend. We're going to have some fun. We're going to dig deep. We're going to play games. It's going to be amazing. So if you need some time to just get away, visit us at realwomenrock.org/intensive to register and to get your seat in the room because we have limited space. And so we don't want you to miss out on the Win Her Circle, the road to capturing the goal, which is our theme for this year's annual intensive. So we just did a whole episode about that. So go back and watch, listen, or watch that episode so you can understand what we're going to be talking about. And as the weeks go, we're going to be bringing on some of our team members and sisters to share more about this amazing intensive. So we would love to see you in the room. So November 22nd through the 24th, register today. All right, y'all. Woo, this has been 50 episodes.
Yay! We did it. We
So
did it.
did it. We did it. So we're excited and we hope you've had some fun with us. We hope you learned and just enjoyed this conversation. So until next time, y'all. Bye.
Bye.